Welcome to our next episode of
Fandom
Family
Chats.
This is a production of Family Fan Clubs on Facebook. You can find us all over Facebook. You can find us all over social media under Fandom Family Chats. Look us up, get dialed in, get plugged in, and get ready to listen to some crazy people talk crazy stuff.
Welcome back to Fandom Family Chats. I'm Amanda.
I'm Eve.
I'm Shelby.
And today we are talking about all the Chicagos.
Yay!
I know, I'm so excited it's back.
I didn't realize how much I missed it until I was watching it.
Well, this is my first time watching live. So after I saw all the season, the last season finales, I said, oh crap, now I have to wait until September to see what happens.
So we're going to start with Med first, since that's what comes on the TV first. And also, I was actually really looking forward to Med coming back on because they left us on that huge cliffhanger at the end.
It's like his built caught fire, and then that was the end of the episode. So
yeah, we had no idea, which Med was very sad for me because Freya died and
the Joe Malena.
Yeah, Riley Vocal. I don't remember her name. Joe. He called her Joe.
Joe is her real name, and I think Malena was her
fake name.
Was
her
fake
undercover name, I guess. So we kind of he finds her back in that alley, and I guess it's too late by then, and she dies in the hospital, which is so sad. So sad because I really liked their vibe together. And it really bums me out that we're not going to be able to see that.
It does bum me out a little bit, but I'm also really glad that none of the characters I was truly connected to, died. So I don't know. But then I also feel like they pushed Dylan on us. I know we talked about this. We've talked about this before, how Dylan was kind of pushed on us and we were like, who the heck is this guy? And I feel like, now he's, at the end of the episode, he made the decision to leave Chicago. So now I feel, wait a minute, you pushed this guy on us, gave us almost nothing, and he's gone. Because I remember we were talking about how we hope that he gets some big storylines to help us, endear us to him.
Yeah.
And now he's leaving. And I'm like, wait a minute, what the heck?
I wonder if he's really leaving. I don't know, because the way everybody kept trying to talk him into staying, and I don't know. I just don't feel like it's over.
And it felt like a really lazy way for him to be off the show. You know what I mean? Like, oh, there are just too many ties here. I need to go somewhere that's not Chicago. I felt like it was just very lazily done.
It was either the actor just gave no notice and was like, I'm out of here, or he's going to be back because or the writers just completely messed this up.
They messed up everything with him because his entire character was just completely thrown at us, and now they're taking him away like that.
Yeah, and I honestly liked him. I enjoyed his character.
I just was hoping we would get more. Maybe we will get more. I guess we'll have to see.
Yeah, my fingers are crossed he's going to stay because I honestly do. I do like him, but like we were saying last season, I wish we could know him a little bit better and have more of something to be able to connect with him. So I don't know. I guess we'll see. But
I'm wondering if Sharon will give him his space and stuff and then try to reach out to him after some time has passed.
I hope so. I mean, I really do.
Because this is already his second career, right? Wasn't he a cop or something?
Yeah, he was a cop in Chicago. But he was never in PD. That's also what really confused me. I was like, why would you say he's a cop from Chicago? But I guess there's different precincts. I mean, we can't just live all in the same precinct.
Well, in my, little universe, there's only one precinct.
I know. It just confuses my head.
In the whole city of Chicago, there's only one precinct.
But yeah, I'm wondering if Sharon will just give him some space or whatever, and then maybe reach out to him, or because from his backstory, he grew up there and stuff. So to just
Mhm.
throw his whole livelihood away
Yep.
over some
maybe-
girl.
Or maybe she'll send someone to go talk sense into him. Like, I don't know, Will might be a good person to.
Well, Will already tried to talk to him, right? Was it Will that tried to talk to him?
He did, but I feel like Will kind of just said, oh yeah, I understand. And then it was just left at that. I don't think he tried too hard to convince him to stay.
Will
Yeah.
made me mad this episode. Well, Will always
I
makes
know
me
you
mad.
said that, but he never made me mad this episode, so I need to know why he made you mad.
Why did he make you mad? Because I can't think of anything.
I know,
He
same
was
thing.
just getting on my nerves with Asher, like how like Ethan was trying to help Asher with like the intubation and he kept stepping in, and it's like, you're too close to this, like back off and just let him do his job. I don't know.
But
I don't
that's
like
Will.
Will anyway, but
But that's just who he's always been like that. It's just his
Yep.
character.
yeah, but
Yep.
his character also has always annoyed me, so you know.
Well, you don't like Will, so I mean, anything he does is going to annoy you.
I think
Yeah,
it's just
but-
passion.
But see, I was starting to like be better with him. Like, still not one of my favorites, but I was starting to not like hate him every episode. But I don't know. This episode, he just seemed like he was overstepping a lot.
I didn't really feel like that. I felt like I think he really likes Dr. Asher. Not Dr. Asher. Oh my gosh. Not Dr. Asher. What's her name?
Hannah, I forget what her last name is though.
It
Hannah.
is Asher, isn't it?
No,
But
isn't
Dr. Asher is the guy.
Oh, then no, that's Archer.
Archer?
Oh my gosh. Come
I
on,
thought-
Chicago. Y'all can't be giving me that two
Well,
names.
Why?
Her name is Asher.
His name is Archer. That's confusing. Why would they do that?
I don't know.
I don't know, but her name is Hannah Asher.
All right, I'm
pretty
going with
sure.
Hannah. We're just gonna go with Hannah, or I'm gonna keep getting confused. So, honestly,
And also, I think he did feel a little bit of guilt and responsibility because it was his building. So I think he
Yeah.
also had that kind of weighing on him.
yeah. And also, I think he felt pretty guilty because when he ran out of that building, he didn't even check on her. She came out of there. He's like it dawned on him that she was even in there when he came running out.
Like, oh yeah, I had
Oh,
someone
yeah.
living in my apartment building. Oops.
Yeah, like I think he was feeling really guilty about that because I really think he did forget that she was even in the building and to even go check on her. And that's obviously going to make anybody feel guilty. And whenever she said, I don't want the intubation, then he was just going with her wishes, even though it was the wrong thing to do. I think he was coming from a good place. I don't
His
think-
heart was in the right place.
Yeah, exactly. His heart was in the right place. He just didn't make the right decision.
And also, I was right. It was Bascom who set the fire.
Oh, yeah. Yes. And I'm glad it was her. I'm sorry. I didn't like that girl.
What was her name? Jessa or no? What was her name?
I don't remember.
I
Vascom
forget
girl.
what her name is.
Bascom
But
girl.
that's Bascom girl. She's the one who told. She's the one that Will was kind of working with when he was kind of like undercover for Vascom, right?
Yes, I think so.
Okay,
Mhm.
because that happened like that. Like,
And
all
then
of a
she tries to
sudden-
kill him.
Yeah, like all of a
Mhm.
sudden they're arresting her. I'm like, whoa, there's like no like storyline. Like they just went from fire to here, we're arresting someone, she's responsible.
But PD was doing their job behind the scenes.
Yeah, well, there we go. PD is just so good. The intelligence is just so good at what they do. So
Exactly. We didn't even have to watch them work. It was that small in their field house that we didn't even have to see it.
like,
They're
this
like,
is such a
she-
non. We got this.
Technically, though, she's got it. Like, she's gonna have it pretty bad because they could get her with murder because of
Yep.
Melena Joe dying, and because of well, we don't know what's going on with Gorham, but if Gorham doesn't make it too, she could get 2 counts.
No, well, she's got what's it called? When you said fires on purpose.
Arson.
Arson.
Arson. My English is hard.
It really is. It really
So
is.
I mean, she she's got arson going for her, then murder, and she's looking at a long time in jail, and I'm not sad about it.
No.
Well, she might not get pinned with the Milena Joe thing because she got shot.
Yeah. That's what I'm thinking too.
Oh yeah, that's true because
She didn't really
that
die in the
stuff.
fire.
Yeah.
I mean, it probably didn't help.
I hope that doesn't get pinned on Dylan.
What, the shooting?
I don't think so, because he was trying to blame himself and they were already saying like you couldn't have known. It's not like you were trying to. I don't think he will. I think if they were going down that route, I think we would have already known something.
I don't see how it could be blamed on Dylan.
No, he was shooting some guy in self-defense for trying to kill him. It was,
Yeah.
to me, it's self-defense. And I mean, it was an accident on his part. I mean, he didn't mean to shoot her. She was in the wrong place at the wrong time. And I guess they all were with a bad guy.
Well, the bullet went right through him and got into her. It's not like it was just like a stray bullet going or whatever.
Yeah. It was a freak thing that, sadly, honestly, does happen quite a bit. So don't shoot somebody with somebody else behind them. How about that? Or how about we just don't shoot anybody?
Pay attention to where you're shooting, or just don't shoot people.
And if you are shooting, remember ricochet happens too.
Let's not give pointers.
If you have children in your car while you're listening to this, shooting someone is not okay.
We use our words.
So speaking of Dylan, just heading out of town, we also had Crockett wanting to quit. It was a lot of quitting happening in this.
Yeah, that was kind of annoying me, to be honest.
I feel like it was a cop-out. Like he was just trying to escape.
Yeah, like why? What do you do? Like, and I love
how Sharon was just like, no, I do not accept your resignation. After all this work we put into you, no. I do not accept.
She just walked out. Nope.
Like, nope, I don't think so. I have things to do. Bye-bye.
But I do think that when that lady gets back on her feet, I do think that he's gonna get like blacklisted. Like she's not gonna let him do anything.
She needs to get over herself. I don't like this lady from the very beginning. I don't like her. She thinks she's up here.
She's very uppity.
She is.
I don't like her.
She thinks she's better than everybody else. She has that surgeon god complex, which we see.
Obviously she's very talented and good at what she does, but her attitude is just very, I don't like it.
But my thing is too with her, like she made him her POA or whatever you want to say, like the proxy, whatever, the one that made the decision. So my thing is, he made the decision that he thought that he should make. Get over yourself. You're the one that put him in that position.
Yep.
So you live and die by your decision. Like at the end of the day, she didn't tell him what she wanted. She told him that she trusted him to make the proper decision because he knows like what a transplant surgeon does, blah 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 blah, whatever. And now she's mad that he made the decision that she doesn't feel like should have been made, but that's not really, I mean, it's on him, but that's not really on him.
I feel like she went off of the assumption that he would do what she wanted, even though she never like said out loud, exactly, this is what I would want. And that's really unfair to do to someone. You can't just assume that they'll do what you want if you haven't explicitly, that's the word, if you haven't explicitly shared what your wishes are.
Yeah.
And not only that, but they barely even knew each other. So why would you even put him in that position anyways?
Her daughter should have been put in that position, in my opinion.
Because it sounds
some guy she barely knew.
Because it sounds like her daughter was wanting to make whatever the other option was. Her daughter was wanting that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
and that's and then the fact that what's his name? The other guy, the brain surgery guy, he was offended that Crockett didn't believe in him or whatever. And I'm like, you don't even act like you have feelings anyway. Now you want to act like you're offended about something.
So true.
He's very dry. I've always liked Dr. Abrams. He's very dry.
Yeah.
But it kind of took me aback a little that he was actually sharing his opinion about the whole situation. I was like, whoa, Sam. That's right, Sam?
Mhm.
Sam, yeah.
Yeah, so I was like, whoa, because I'm not used to him. I mean, he's a very, I don't want to say emotionless. He's not a very emotional dude.
Mm-hmm.
So to see him give his opinion like that, I was very taken aback. It seemed very unlike him to do that.
Yeah. No, I mean, it was kind of out of his character. I agree with you. But my whole takeaway with this is Crockett made a decision that he would have wanted somebody to make for him. And that's exactly what he told her. And it just pisses me off that she's treating him like this now.
And my thing is to put someone in that position, that's big shoes to fill. Like, I'm not gonna lie to you. If I was in the position that she was in, me and Kenny have been together how many years, right? If I was in that position that she was in, I wouldn't let Kenny make that decision. And me and him have been together for years and years and years.
I would let Ben make that decision for me. He would know what
But
I
you
wanted.
guys are married. That's different.
But even someone I've known my entire life, like I'd still say, okay, if I'd still have the doctor like walk us through everything and say, okay, well, if it comes to this, this is what I want. Like, no matter how well I know the person, I want them to at least feel good about the decision they're making.
I mean, does she not have a living will? As a doctor, as a professional, as everything, does she not have a living will? Does she not like say like, hey, like this is
sounds irresponsible for her to not have one, you know, especially given the area that she works in.
Yeah. It just I don't feel like this storyline was written very well.
There are a lot of holes in it.
It felt like it came out of the blue, first of all, and then it went by fast, and then we're seeing this fallout this whole season, which, to be honest, I completely forgot about this entire storyline until I saw it happening on the screen on Wednesday. I honestly forget about her, and I think it's because I don't like her.
I want her to go away. I won't be sad if she's like, if we get to the next episode and she's just gone forever, I won't be sad about it.
I wouldn't either. I would not. I think she brings Crockett down. I think he's a very good surgeon. I think she has taught him things, but
I don't like who he's been since he's been involved. He used to be so like fun and, you know, carefree, and now he's just, I don't.
Mm-hmm. And he used to be so confident too, and now he's just double thinking everything.
Yeah. So
I mean, like, not saying that he shouldn't be like that as a surgeon, I guess, but like, it's sad seeing him that way, because like he should know that he's great at what he does.
He's not confident anymore. He used to be a very confident doctor, surgeon, and I feel like that completely fell off, and it's not as good watching him now. Like, I don't get excited for Crockett anymore when I used to.
Because remember when he first came on, like he was really charismatic.
Yes. And
like he had charisma up the wazoo, and he's just kind of lost that touch.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he's kind of boring.
Yeah, he's not a fun character anymore. I loved him when he came on. He was fresh and new and exciting, and now he's too much like Dr. What's her name? I don't like. I don't even remember her name. What's her name? I never even bothered remembering her name.
I'm sure if you said it, I'd be like, oh yeah, that's it. But I can't think of it off the top of my head right now. I'm the same way as you. I don't really like her, so I don't really care to remember her name. I have a lot of other people's names I need to remember in my head than hers.
And like with him too, like I don't know if it's the actor isn't into it anymore as much, or if it's like how the character's supposed to be portrayed. But like when he would talk and stuff, like he was just so uppity, and like he would have like stars. I love Crockett, you guys know that. He would have like stars in his eyes, and like he was just like so into everything. And like it seems like now he's just like the lights kind of went out. Like he's still there, and like his voice is still but it's just like I don't know. He's just not him anymore.
She's dulled his sparkle.
Yeah, like I'm still swooned by his voice. Let's not get that crooked, but
I mean, I could still listen to his voice all day long. I mean, that hasn't changed.
I could listen to him talk all day too. I'm
but it's just like I don't know, like he's just not.
No, I agree with you. And I don't think it's him. I think I think it's the writing, and I don't know why they're doing it. I mean, maybe he is gearing up to leave the show, and maybe they are trying to like write him down. I mean, because that is the kind of the, I don't want to say the right way to do it, but don't take somebody away from us when we're like absolutely in love with them. Let's knock them down a few steps and then get rid of them. I'm sorry, but that's my thinking of it.
No, I agree with you.
That's not their plan, because I want him to go back to being Crockett and have him stay.
I mean,
But
that's my
only
number
want
one
to stay-
choice.
I only want him to stay if he's going to be the old Crockett again.
Mm-hmm.
I think she needs to get out, and maybe he will go back to being himself.
Who? Dr. What's her name we don't like?
Yeah. That girl.
The one
Doctor
that I can't
that-
remember her name.
So to continue talking about doctors we don't like, do we want to talk about Dr. Charles and his new therapist?
I laughed when he was when Dr. Charles
hysterical.
when Dr. Charles was like talking about his stuff, and then the doctor was like, wait, I have to ask you a couple questions. And he's like, okay. And then like he was asking him, and then when he looked up, he was just gone. I started laughing. Like I was dying.
The only thing that would have made it better is if like the chair was spinning around. Like
yes.
Oh my God. It's like, are you a smoker? Dr. Charles is like, is he for real right now?
He was
Like he's opening up his inner thoughts, and then he's asking me if I smoke.
Oh man, that was just like the epitome of a bad therapist. Maybe that's why we're so afraid to go to therapy.
I mean, there's really not much further we need to go with the Dr. Charles thing, but that I had to talk about it. It was just so funny.
I'm glad that he's finally getting somebody else to talk to, though, because
yeah,
I think he really crossed lines with that other therapist, and like I think that he really does need somebody to talk to with everything that he does and stuff. I just hope that he finds somebody that's right for him.
Yeah, because
that guy definitely was.
Especially the area he works in, he really needs someone to talk to.
Yeah.
Speaking of Dr. Charles, and what did you think of his little trainer girl?
I feel like this is just yet another character they're just pushing on us that we don't know much about. I feel like she was all up in there, and I'm sitting there like, hold on a second. You're an intern. You need to know your place.
Honestly,
and I don't feel like she was I don't feel like she was listening to the whole thing. Like she was focused on the patient, yes, but you have to be focused on like the family too, and like how they're gonna react to certain things, and like the way that she reacted to how the parents reacted about the kids having schizophrenia. I don't think that she's gonna be around for long. And
she was making really knee-jerk not decisions, but like assumptions.
Yeah.
And so like, what is she? She's not an intern. It strikes me like they're trying to introduce her as someone who has been in this area for a while, but
I think she's like a student, like what that other girl was doing, the one that dated that geeky guy.
Sarah Reese, yeah.
Sarah Reese.
Yeah. I think she's like what she is.
I miss her.
I hope we grow to like this new girl though, because right now I'm not quite liking how she works.
Yeah. I honestly forgot about her until you just said it.
Because when the parents freaked out, like that felt like a very natural response that a parent would make to hearing that their son might have schizophrenia. Yeah. And she was just sitting there like, whoa, that was crazy. Like, no, it was not crazy. You basically just told them your son is crazy and there's something wrong with him. Yep. Obviously, they're going to freak out. I mean, no parent wants to be told your teenager probably has schizophrenia. Like, what's wrong with you, lady?
No bedside manner.
No. Yeah. I'm not going to lie, though. I think that they kind of missed a little bit of an opportunity there because, like when it comes to fentanyl and stuff, like smoking something that's laced with fentanyl can have long-term
effects.
Long-term, yeah, that's the word. And I thought that like maybe they were gonna bring notice to that, and like maybe that's the route that they were going. I'm a little disappointed that they didn't go that way because fentanyl is such a big thing right now, and I really think that it's something that should have been brought up, and I think that they missed an opportunity.
Well, they are in PD right now.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I'm
that's
also
like the main storyline in PD right now is like the whole fentanyl.
also hoping
problem.
that's not the end of that storyline. I feel like we're going to be seeing more of that family in coming episodes.
I think so too. It didn't feel like it was over. We got a little bit of an update about Vanessa and her dad and Maggie and that whole situation going on right now. I don't like how Maggie, we're kind of having this flirtation with Vanessa's bio dad. Like, I like Maggie's husband, and I'm not very happy that I think they're gonna mess with it. I have a bad feeling.
Yeah, well, I mean, it seems like Maggie's trying to do damage control by telling him that she wants nothing to do with him and that his only purpose is just to get to know Vanessa.
Yeah, I have a feeling they're gonna mess with Maggie and Ben this season, and I'm not looking forward to it because I like them as a couple.
Am not going to stop watching Med, so let's get real here. But I will watch it and be very unhappy.
Yeah, no, same here. Plus I think after Dr. Charles, Maggie's one of my next favorite characters. So I don't want to see her in any kind of like bad light, I feel like.
Lots of good things need to happen to her. So we need to
Maggie's
just
Maggie's always been solid. Like I don't want them to ruin her character.
I know. That's what I have a problem with. It's not that like, I mean, I'm not that attached to Ben.
I was very excited about this whole, Vanessa getting to know her bio dad thing.
Yeah.
But now it's just turning into a really awkward, not great situation. Like, it's nice seeing her get to know him, but then Maggie's involvement or uninvolvement in it is feeling kind of awkward and weird, and I'm not really liking it.
I'm sorry, but Maggie doesn't need to be a part of that. Like, in my opinion, I think, at the very beginning, like introducing them and that kind of stuff, but then she needs to step back because Vanessa's a grown woman. She can do this. Like, if Vanessa's like, hey, do you mind being a buffer? That's kind of one thing. But I feel like Maggie's, for some reason, trying to put herself more into it than she needs to be.
I'm wondering if she feels a little bit jealous because like she put Vanessa up for adoption, and then like Vanessa kind of looked at her and like Vanessa thought very, very highly of Maggie, and like I'm wondering if she's worried that the dad's gonna take that.
Especially since at the very beginning of their relationship, Vanessa made it really clear that she didn't want anyone to know about Maggie. And then here she is accepting her bio dad, like from the get-go. So,
Yeah.
I mean, that can't be easy for her to watch either.
But I also don't think that she would have been like that if it wasn't for how great Maggie has been to her. I don't feel like Vanessa would have been like she is with her bio dad if it wasn't for Maggie. I think Maggie's just made that whole situation so comfortable for her that she's not that scared of it anymore.
And the other thing is too, I think that part of it is that she didn't want people to think that the only reason that she got that job was because of Maggie being there.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
Yeah, I know that's the reasoning behind it, but still, I mean, it can feel good to see her being so gung-ho into accepting her bio dad when she's probably thinking, well, she couldn't be like that with me.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
A little jealousy, which is normal. It's fine. We're all human beings. We all have jealousy.
Regardless of the good, like the intentions behind her wanting to keep her distance. I mean, it's still there. So
yeah.
And if that's what's going on, she can't help that.
No. But I'm interested to see how it goes going forward. So something else we need to mention real fast, and is Archer's son. You guys know me and my feelings about Archer, so I don't want to linger on him too long, but it does need to be mentioned. Mentioned. It does need to be mentioned.
You know what? I feel like what they're doing, and I feel like it's smart because I don't really care for Dr. Archer. No, that's his name, right? Archer.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. No, is it? Yeah.
Oh my
Archer.
Yeah.
I don't know.
God, these names are so confusing. I don't really care for Dr. Archer. So I feel like with this whole storyline with his son, and it's being very well done, it's being introduced slowly. So I feel like this whole storyline they're bringing in is they're working to kind of, make him a more likable character, or kind of make us connect to him a little more. So I think the direction they're going is very smart.
Anyone else
As
shocked
far
that
as-
his son was locked up though?
Yeah, for some reason, I was thinking that his son they lost touch and his son doesn't want anything to do with him. I thought that's what the deal was. I was surprised to find out he was in jail.
When those people came in with the kid with the fentanyl thing, I thought that was going to be his son and the kid was going to be his grandson.
Oh, I
And
didn't
like
think about
that's how
that.
he would, and that's how he would when they brought them in, I was like, okay, this is Archer's son.
Oh, I didn't even think about that.
I didn't
That's
either.
the first thing that I thought about, but I mean, it ended up not being it, obviously. But
That would have been good though.
Yeah, that would have been really interesting.
Yeah, a lot
'Cause
better
I
than what we
thought-
saw.
yeah, because I thought, well, maybe like this would be how they would reunite. Like Archer would help his grandson,
Yeah.
But I was a little surprised. I'm anxious to see how they go about this with his son being locked up.
I hope we don't really linger on it too long. To be honest, I know that sounds really bad of me, but I don't like Archer and I don't really care about his son, and like, they can just go for me. I don't know who out there is like, I am the biggest Archer fan. Like who in Chicago world is like, yes, no.
If you're listening and you're an Archer fan, tell us and also explain yourself.
Don't even tell me, just explain yourself.
Maybe they'll make him more likable.
I don't know if they
That's
can.
what
He's been around for a while.
That's what I'm hoping, but I don't know. I still feel like it's too late. Maybe we'll start to feel a little bad for him, but I don't know if I'm going to start liking him.
Or get a
But
little bit of
I
a
hope that-
backstory as to why he is the way that he is.
I hope it's not a season-long storyline that we're looking at. Like, I hope they kind of like move this along.
Yeah. Oh, speaking of my
You want to know
theory.
what I?
Oh, go ahead.
You want to know what I hope is a season-long storyline?
You're getting there for me. I like
Go ahead.
he was the only one like watching it the same night as me. I was like, oh
Well,
my god, come on, get there.
Well, you had me really excited. You were like, the last 5 minutes I loved. I was like, I got to get to these last 5 minutes. And then I was watching and watching and watching. I was like, what is it she loves so much? And then, there's April. And I texted Amanda right away. I was like, April's back.
Oh, I was
I
so
was
excited.
really confused at first because I was like, wait a minute, was I supposed to know this?
No, it was a complete
Well,
surprise.
So good job, Dick Wolf.
I know Jeanette
Thank you.
just put in she just watched it. So shout out Jeanette. She's excited right now because she just got to see April.
Ugh, I'm so excited she's back because I have not loved Ethan since she's been like once she left, I realized Ethan really isn't that fun of a person.
No, she made him likable. I mean,
Yeah,
I was gonna say
And they're both
TBH. Wow, Amanda.
they're
to be
both
honest.
single. So
I know. I loved when they asked each other.
You didn't go and get married, did you?
I was like, wait, you said married. Are they? I need to know if they're single. I need to know. Well, I know Ethan is. I was like, okay, she might not be married, but is she single? But the way she said it, I think they're both single and looking
Ready to
for-
mingle.
Yeah, with each other. That's how it seemed to me. And
Hopefully.
really, she's at his dad's
memorial or
I think she thinks cemetery. That's the only word that's in my head right now. Like memorial
His
spot.
memorial, yeah.
his memorial
His
spot.
grave or whatever.
Yeah. Like all I could think the only word going through my head was cemetery. I was like, that's not it.
He has a
But since
whole
she's
cemetery.
there, she's not over Ethan.
No, and she even said that she wanted to go to the funeral, but thought it would be weird.
She was never over Ethan. Even right before she left, she wasn't over him.
No, they need to seriously get together and get married and like and just like give us a happily ever after.
And just leave them alone.
And
Let's get married
please.
alone.
Or don't even leave them alone. Make happy things happen.
Let them live happily ever after, forever and ever.
But we want to see it.
Yeah.
You got to bring April back to.
Put them back together and let good things happen to them all the time.
All right. So that is it for Med. We talked a little bit longer than I wanted to about Med.
A lot of things, more things happened than I remembered.
I
on
know.
Med.
Shelby's over here adding things as we go. And I was like, oh yeah, you're right. Oh yeah, you're
I mean,
I
it had to be talked about. It's
I
not like it
know.
was.
I saw
It's not
her
like it was
adding
just
stuff and I'm
random.
like, oh crap, that happened too.
It's like,
Okay.
yeah, we do have to talk about it.
It's
I'm
not
glad
like
you
it was
are.
just normal Shelby random stuff. It was actually legitimate.
It was. No, I appreciate it. Okay. So we are going to jump into fire. Chicago
Not
fire.
jump into.
Yeah, not
a
jump
fire.
into a fire, but we are going to jump into talking about Chicago fire. And we're going to start from the very beginning because that opening scene
So
was
stressful.
so hot.
Oh, that opening scene. Yeah, that was
Opening scene.
I
Who
felt
did
like
you guys think it was when the doorknob started wiggling though? Because I had forgotten like who was after them in the last season.
Oh well, see, I just caught up just after the season finale had aired. So
Oh.
it was still fresh in my mind. So I figured it was the drug people after them. But I felt like I couldn't even enjoy that opening scene because I was like, oh my God, someone's gonna come after them. They're like in there,
No.
Oh yeah, it went through my head too. I'm like, my poor Taylor, he's just trying to get some after getting married.
I don't know
And-
how they got dressed so fast. That's where my mind was whenever I was like, man, they
It was
got
just
like
like-
fully dressed.
Because he was like, get dressed, go to the back door, and like 2 seconds later, they're out the cabin. I'm like, whoa, wait a second.
How small is that thing? Not that. Jesus. Marina's gonna yell at us. No, she is.
This is what happens when you don't send a babysitter.
Don't tell her that, because then we'll never have an episode again without her on here.
She keeps us in line and on point. Okay, that was your job, Shelby.
No, not with Taylor. Not when we're talking about Taylor. No, ma'am.
All right, so when they jump out that back window, they start hauling butt. I first of all did not like it when he made her separate from him. So I was like, oh great, here we go. Are they gonna kill Stella? Because
Yeah, because she's reckless and she's one that'll try to get their attention.
I know. And then she did. And I was like, no, you
I
idiot.
knew that she was gonna do that. I knew
I
that
was
she
not
would when they separated.
I was not surprised, but at the same time, I was like, Stella, stop it.
But also, if she didn't do that, that might have been it for Kelly too,
Yeah.
to be honest, because her yelling and getting them to face her,
It gave him time.
it gave him time to grab that. Was it fishing spear or rake?
But you know what I was worried about though? When those cops showed up and they were talking about a dirty cop, I thought that they were gonna try. I thought that they were gonna try to say that Kelly was going after him because of like being scared or whatever.
Yep.
I'm glad that they didn't go that route, but that's really what I thought.
I did too. I thought Kelly was going to get in trouble. Like when they first pulled up, I thought Kelly was getting in trouble. And I was like, whoa. What are y'all doing? And then it ended up not being that. And I've never felt so relieved.
I thought that, the cop that he was dealing with, that, he was having the problems with, I thought he was the dirty cop.
I thought that too.
Yeah.
I definitely thought he would be the dirty cop. And I was really surprised that he wasn't. Like,
Yeah.
I really thought that was the direction they were going.
I did too because of how he was acting. Like he
But
was
now we
like he
know
was
that-
acting like he was on a straight and narrow, and then like when Kelly would ask about it, he would kind of just like blow it off.
But now we know why. I mean, the guy was being used as a confidential informant, and now with Kelly kind of getting help blowing that up, they can't use him anymore, which I get, having
Yeah.
seen Chicago PD.
Yeah.
I mean, I get that that's why they're so pissed at Kelly now. But when Kelly went to that guy, the guy who was friends with his dad, with Benny,
Oh yeah.
Mhm.
what is his position? Like, is he part of the police department? Like, what's his deal?
I thought he was a part of like the fire,
Uh,
like the higher up.
Maybe he's just a higher up who has a lot of pull, like within just
Like the arson
general.
team, like one of
Yeah,
those.
maybe.
Yeah,
I feel-
I don't he's one of the white coats, so he's like
Yeah.
he's like equivalent to what Commissioner Grissom was, kind of, but
That's
Yeah,
what I was
somewhere in
thinking.
there.
I was a little taken aback, or maybe a lot taken aback at his response to Kelly. Like when Kelly asked him for help, I was like, whoa, that came out of like anyone who knows Benny knew that, like what Kelly said, Benny was a very complicated man. And it really shouldn't be a surprise to anyone how Benny and Kelly's relationship was.
Yeah.
So it kind of took me aback that that's what his response was to Kelly coming to ask him for help.
Yeah.
You know how I feel about Kelly, but I feel like that was super harsh.
It was.
I love Kelly's speech. I did love Kelly's speech at the end. Like right when he was about to walk out, I was like, is he really just gonna walk out and leave it there? So I was glad he turned around.
Yeah.
So
Same.
like that was a really good speech. I like that.
And see,
Yeah.
my thing was too, he doesn't ask for favors lightly. So the fact that he went and asked for a favor was kind of a big deal for Kelly anyway. And then to be
Yep.
treated like that, it was like, really?
Yeah, it is
Disappointing.
It is very rare of Kelly to accept that he needs help and he, needs someone to step in. So for him to go and ask for a favor, that had to be like, that was a lot for him to do.
Yeah. I mean, I don't want to say I didn't like Kelly this episode. That's not what I'm meaning. Like, he upset me a lot this episode because he just seemed so depressed, I feel like, and just like sad. I was just like, I don't like Kelly being like this. Like,
I don't like sad Kelly.
He just got married. He should be like happy and they should be like all lovey-dovey right now. And we didn't get that this episode. So
no, but
maybe sad.
He's come a long way though, because his little speech that he gave with Stella, well, first of all, just him getting married has brought him a long way. But then his little speech that he gave to Stella, he basically just figured out, which I think this is kind of stupid, but he just figured out that like the stuff that he does affects her too. And I think that he was kind of scared, like, oh my gosh, I almost got this woman killed type of thing with, him being the way that he is.
Yep.
Which, I mean, it's not really his fault. I mean, the guy was crazy pants and came after him, but still at the end of the day, like he's learning to be less selfish and thinking about the woman he loves too.
Yeah.
Which, speaking of Stella, she was a badass this episode.
Ooh.
Oh, it was just like thing after thing after thing with her. I was like, she's like my favorite person in the entire Chicago universe right now.
Oh, you're joining me. Hi.
Yeah.
I've been there for a little bit.
We've always loved Stella.
At least for this episode, she's my favorite
No,
now.
she's
I've
like
always
the
loved
prettiest. She's I love her character just so much. And I love that she can bring that out of Kelly.
So speaking of Stella, can we dive into the whole thing with the new firefighter? Because I am really confused about what Bowden's deal is with him. Like, Bowden is usually so like, as when it comes to his lieutenants, he usually trusts like their judgment, and he's really pushing this new firefighter.
I think actually this firefighter is good. I think he's good at his job. I think Stella, I don't think he's as bad as Stella is thinking he's going to be. I just don't. I think if anything, this guy is having attitude right now because he realizes how Stella is seeing him.
I guess I'm just a little confused just because Bowden usually just takes his lieutenant's word, and he's really gung-ho over this new firefighter. So I guess it's just, I don't know, it's just different.
Well, I think it's because Bowden has seen firsthand how he is, and like he's in the firefighter world, he's a hero. I mean, he pulls somebody out and he's the reason that the person survived. So to Bowden, he probably feels like, that deserves not really recognition, but at least a second chance, regardless of how Stella feels about him and how he was in the academy. Like,
Yeah.
he's still a hero. Do you know what I mean?
I mean, we don't
Yeah,
have to like everybody we work with as long as they're doing their job correctly.
Just to be clear, have we met him before, or is this just backstory that we're just hearing about now?
Yeah, this is
Backstory.
our first time meeting him.
So, I wonder, I really hope that they're going to kind of maybe do some flashbacks just so we can understand where Stella is coming from.
Yeah.
Because I'm not going to enjoy a whole season of her and Bowden just not being on the same page as far as this firefighter's concerned. So
honestly, I thought her mind was going to change a little bit once she saw like his burn and stuff. I thought she was not be so hard on him.
I thought that's where it was going too, but still she kind of sidelined him on that call.
Which was not okay.
She did sideline him, but the way that she stood up to Bowden though about it, I mean, what she said made sense. I mean, I get where he was coming from and stuff, but I mean, he does kind of, to run into a fire with somebody, you have to trust your people 100%.
Yeah.
And she doesn't trust him, so she gave him the back burner job.
I feel like they all do this though. When they have somebody new, they always do this because you got to think they're making decisions on the fly, right? Who are going to be like the people that you think of first to call for help? You're going to think about the people who have been there with you for 5-6 years rather than the person that's new today. That's going to be your last thought, to be honest. I mean, in human nature.
And she needs to trust that he's at least going to follow her orders just to do basic stuff like cut the sound system like she asked. So
which he did do, and he didn't overstep. I mean, but that's one thing about Gallo that I didn't like is how reckless he was. Like, regardless of what Casey told him to do, even if it was something minimal, he always tried to go above and beyond, and then it seemed like he always got himself into some shit when he did it.
Yeah, because they're telling you go do this and you go do this, and not you go do this and then do whatever you feel like. No, that you need to really, in life, life-threatening situations, you should all be on the same page. That's I'm no professional, but I feel like that's a kind of common sense thing. Really, if your boss tells you to do something, you wouldn't go do that thing and then go do somebody else's job as well.
Especially when it comes to running into a fire, because
exactly
you figure, okay, he told me to cut the sound system, but I see these kids here that I'm going to get, but then someone else is doing something else to try to get to the kids, then they're doing that for no reason.
Yep.
It's just whatever. But some comedic relief this episode with Mouch and that other new guy, he was cracking me up because Mouch was like running circles around dude, and like he did not
what was
not with it.
What was that guy's name again? Do you remember?
Mouch. Oh
no, the other new guy. I just thought it was funny that Mouch was like talking about replacing him and getting someone to start immediately because this guy was terrible, and he's sitting right there.
I know. It's so awkward.
And I think somebody mentioned that, like, I'm right here. Yep, I know.
Yeah, and then even at the one call where they were getting the guy down, like out of that thing on the, you know what I'm talking about. Mouch was like, Mouch was like, just go over there and go somewhere. And like Mouch is like running around him, which like I thought was hilarious too. Because Mouch is like probably good in his late 40s, early 50s, and this guy's young, and he's like literally running circles around him. Literally.
That guy was just a bum. He didn't seem to understand what he was supposed to be doing ever.
No,
but no. I do really like having people like that come to 51 just for comedic relief.
Oh yeah.
Because, especially with Mouch, like he just cracked me up with that guy.
I think that's a big thing about them is that they're all family, and like they're all kind of on the same understanding at this point. They all know what they're kind of doing at each call. Yep. So them bringing in new people is kind of like not really putting a damper on things, but it kind of messes up their whole vibe too.
It does.
And then when you have someone that's incompetent on top of not knowing what the whole vibe is, like I think it just makes things worse.
And Absolutely. I feel like they do a good job of kind of pulling us into that as well, because you also feel like, well, this is the new guy. I don't trust this new guy. He needs to prove himself, and I'm not gonna like him. Like,
Yeah.
because I was like Gallo at first. I didn't like Gallo at first because he was brand new. Now I love him.
I liked him at the very beginning. I feel like I was one of the only ones on the podcast who did like him from the very beginning, though.
Jeanette
I
did.
didn't like him from the
She-
very beginning, but I did grow to love him very quickly.
I just knew it's not like I was like, as soon as I saw him, I was like, oh my gosh, I'm gonna love him. I just had a good feeling that he was gonna fit in with 51 very well. Like, he just seemed like he was like already a part of them before he was even in there. Like, in my opinion.
I liked him this episode. I don't care for him that much, but I liked him this episode.
Speaking of Gallo, I'm getting kind of tired of the Gallo Violet shenanigan things.
He needs to. They need to move on from that because I feel
it's all about Chief Hawkins right now.
yeah, I'm all about Chief Hawkins. I love them together, and
Me
I
too.
feel I get why Gallo, like character wise, I get why Gallo is still so hung up on her, but I feel like the writers need to like kind of help him move on. Can we find him a girl?
That's what I was gonna say. They just need to find him a love interest.
Yeah, find him a love interest so that we can just leave Violet and Hawkins alone.
Yeah, because them like officially, I guess, getting together or being publicized their relationship.
They can be public, yeah.
Like that, they look so freaking cute together. And that little moment that they had to where she told him that she wanted to be with, oh my gosh. That was such a, I don't want to say like a hot moment. That was like such a cute, romantic.
It was a sweet moment.
It was, yes, thank you. It was just such a sweet, vulnerable moment. And I don't feel like we get to see that very much in any of the Chicagos, really. They're kind of like more business-wise, like
Mm-hmm.
we don't really
And then
get
like
sweet.
And then them walking into Molly's and Chief Hawkins being like, oh, this is awkward. And then her making out with him. And she's like, is this awkward?
It was so cute. I really
like
them
them together. And see, I'm not a big Violet fan, but I like them together. I like
Violet.
how she is with him.
I like Violet because of her and Sylvie's relationship. I feel like if Sylvie likes somebody, I feel like I should like them too. I trust, like, I guess, her judgment.
What did you guys think of the Kyle coming back? I was wondering if they were gonna put them back together again, but Kyle's engaged.
I completely forgot about him at first. Even when she was like, "Oh, Kyle," I was like,
I did too. I totally forgot about him.
It took me a hot minute to figure out who he was at first.
It wasn't until she said he was my fiance. Oh,
yeah,
like that's right.
Okay, good, because I was embarrassed to admit that that's how long it took me. But I was sitting there like, oh yeah, I remember that whole thing, but that's how much of an impression he made on me in the first place, I guess.
I don't know what was the reasoning for that.
Well, she moved with him to back to her home. She moved back to her hometown with him.
Yeah.
And she was just unhappy, and he accepted that and said, "You're unhappy here. This isn't your life."
But why bring him back? That's what I'm confused about. Is it just to like make her realize about Matt?
I think it was kind of to push along her whole breakup with Matt, because I feel like his purpose was just to share like how the stars aligned for him and his current fiance, and then that kind of pushed the breakup, which I feel happened I feel like that breakup just happened so quickly and suddenly.
From a couple of different articles I have read, I'm reading that Matt is coming back. So I don't think it's like for certain yet. That's just some things I've been reading. Maybe people are just thinking it. I don't know. I can't say for sure. But it has been mentioned that Matt might be coming back. So maybe she does this breakup thing, and that's what like pushes him to be like, okay, I can't lose her. And maybe he's going to bring the kids with him. I don't know how that's going to work, because he's got to like raise these children now for some reason. Still bothers me. But the only way I can see it happening is if he moves the kids to Chicago, because she's not moving back.
Storyline just seemed out of the blue to me too, but I know we're not on that.
No, it it did seem out of the blue. It was out of the blue, and it's
Well,
still dumb to me.
I mean, the actor, I'm guessing it's because the actor wanted to leave. And that
Yes.
was really the best storyline they could think of at the time. But
Even-
I feel like that happened I feel like it happened way too fast. Like there was really not too much of a buildup. Like not enough of a buildup for that storyline to really fit in and make sense.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh,
because like
absolutely.
I didn't even remember who
trying to
those kids were at first. I was like,
I didn't
who
either.
are they?
yeah, I was
That
gonna
was
say,
like
I'm trying to put my
episode
thoughts
1.
together. Yeah,
I mean,
like
come on.
like
That
we
was like
haven't
the
even
first 5
talked.
episodes.
Yeah, like we haven't even talked about this guy since the first season, and then all of a sudden you're going to go take care of his kids because you feel like you need to do it. Like all of a sudden you're talking to their aunt and they're misbehaving, and you need to. I don't know. It just didn't make no sense.
So I was not watching. I didn't watch when Matt was leaving, like that whole storyline. I didn't watch it live. I was still binging. So because of that, like I knew that Matt was going to leave eventually. So I kind of dug in, and I knew that that's how he was leaving. So this whole time I was kind of waiting and waiting and waiting for that storyline to pop up because I knew which episode was going to be his last one.
Yeah.
And I was like, his last episode is getting closer and closer, and the storyline still hasn't happened. Like, what's going on?
Yep.
Yeah, it was
No, I know.
really
Same
quick.
way. But I think even when he like left the show, I think it was like kind of made known that he was leaving for a little bit. He wasn't like completely gone.
It seems
What's
like they do these weird like hiatus things though with the characters, like just like Stella's whole hiatus last season, like that made me mad because I love Stella and like that's so not like her to just go off and like not contact anybody.
And I don't think the actress was even doing anything. I feel like it was just a storyline.
Yeah, I don't remember. I remember I looked it up, but I don't remember what it was. But
I mean,
like,
these people are working really hard. Sometimes, I mean, I don't blame them
Maybe
for
they just
needing
need a
to take breaks.
Maybe they just need a vacation.
I mean, everybody needs a vacation, right?
hell yeah.
Shelby needs a heck of a vacation.
I think Matt's had enough vacation, so he needs to come back. I'd be very happy. But then again, Stella's lieutenant now. So where would that leave Matt?
Stay at home dad.
He couldn't do that. You know that.
Stay at home guardian.
He would have to come back. I just don't know what.
Just as like, how would he come back? Like
yeah, exactly.
I was a little disappointed there wasn't more Joe this episode.
Oh, actually, today is his birthday. So
happy birthday, Joe Cruz.
Happy birthday, Joe Cruz, in IRL, in real life.
I don't know the actor's name, but happy birthday, Joe.
His name's Joe too, I'm pretty sure.
Is it?
Joe Menozzo, yeah.
You know what I was really disappointed about with it? Maybe we'll get it later. Remember how at the end, like when we last talked about Fire, we talked about that terrible, awful character. What's her name? Emma?
Oh, yeah.
And how there has to be more with that, and we're looking for more. I was hoping we would continue with that.
Not me. I'm glad we didn't see her.
No, well, I don't want to see her anymore, but I want the digging into her past to keep happening because I need to know what happened with that other fire chief.
No, here's what happened. She was in San Diego in the Fosters, and she made Jesus get a tattoo on him right here. And then she graduated high school and got a job, and then she did something to the fire chief. We still don't know because it was all blacked out. And then she came to Chicago and she changed her name to Emma, and she's a royal bitch.
Oh, I did not like her last season, dude. Obviously, we've been talking about it a little bit, but Sylvie called Matt, and it sounds like she's breaking it off, which I feel like is a long time coming. I mean, I'm sorry, no relationship is going to work like that far away from each other.
And I was not interested in a relationship that we didn't even get to see. Like, I want that relationship to happen. We've been waiting for it for a long, long time.
Yeah.
But I was not interested in this relationship happening if we didn't even get to see anything.
Nope.
And
I
that's
didn't
what I was
like
gonna
it.
say. Like, I don't like, and I mean, maybe the actor left, whatever, suddenly or whatever, but I don't like that they kind of strung us along and like got it kind of like hot and heavy, and then all of a sudden, like they're just separated and they can't be together.
That
Yep.
was the slowest, that was the longest slow burn I have ever seen on a TV show in my entire life.
So annoying to me. I was like, get together
then-
already.
So they get together and then poof, he's gone. What
Yeah.
the heck is this?
Yeah, I'm sorry, but if Matt is not coming back to Chicago Fire, then they do need to be over, and we need to find Sylvie another love interest, because I'm done with it. I don't want to. It's not a relationship any of us want to watch.
And I didn't want to see, so I was not into the idea of seeing a whole season or however long it took of Sylvie just being miserable and missing Matt. Like, that wasn't going to be fun.
No,
Yeah, she was really kind of pathetic with that.
she was. All right, so that's all for Fire. We are going to say bye to Shelby. Bye, Shelby.
All right, you guys, have fun.
All right, bye, Shelby.
Bye.
All right. So now me and Eve, Shelby's not caught up on PD, so that's why she's not staying. So now Eve and I are going to finish up with PD. But like we were saying earlier, it really wasn't that interesting for a season premiere. So we're probably not going to be talking too long about it, which I think that's fine because we talked a lot about Med and Fire. Sorry, y'all.
We spent more time on Med than I thought we would have needed to.
I know. We almost spent an hour on Med. I mean, obviously we're going to have to she'll cut that down, but all right.
So obviously the episode started with Voight patrolling the streets trying to bring down, so he's trying to bring down that gang that was kind of responsible for Anna, is that her name?
Yeah.
Okay, that didn't sound right to me. So
yeah.
So the episode starts with Hank, patrolling the streets trying to bring down the gang responsible for Anna's death.
Yeah.
And I felt like even that wasn't really terribly juicy.
No, it really wasn't. Like I was expecting probably like a little bit more of a storyline, more action, more something.
There was no solid storyline. It was kind of like, we'll do a little bit of this and a little bit of that. And
I will say that the beginning was very intense. I felt like a lot of anxiety when I was watching the very like first 5 minutes of it with Voight, because I was like, what is he doing? Like he is freaking lost it. And I'm sorry, but when Voight gets that mad, there's sometimes where it can get a little scary, and he's unpredictable. Like I didn't know what was going to be happening, but it really didn't go that way. Like it kind of fizzled out a little bit, and I don't know. I feel like we're losing Voight. He's just gone off on one of his little tangents. And
yeah, he's gone off the rails. And I feel like at this point, it's really Jay kind of holding down the fort. But then at the same time, we know that he's heading out soon.
yeah.
So, I mean, he can't hold down the fort forever. So I'm hoping Hank kind of gets his stuff together. And
you know what I'm really scared of, and I was scared this entire episode, is Hank's gonna somehow cause Jay's death by what he is doing right now, because he is not thinking about anybody except Anna. And I'm getting a little bit scared that, because I feel like if he causes Jay's death, that entire team is going to go after Voight.
Yeah, that's going to cause a lot of disruption. I don't know if that's the word, but yeah, that's going to cause a lot of problems.
I mean, if they don't kill him, somehow Voight, I feel like, is going to cause Jay to either leave or die. And I feel like it's going to cause a rift.
Either way, it's going to cause a rift. It's going to cause a lot of problems. And it's not something I'm really looking forward to. So hopefully, I mean, I guess there really is no great way for Jay to leave the show.
No. And like, I can't see him just leaving if Haley's going to stay.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's why I'm so scared they're going to kill him off. I mean, obviously we don't know what's going to happen yet, but why would Haley stay and Jay leave?
Unless he gets a promotion to a new, unless he's like moves to some other job or something, kind of like Antonio did. And like
Maybe.
he's still, I guess, we still see like Haley still talks about him, and I don't know,
Maybe.
they text or whatever, kind of like how we see Christina texting
Owen.
Meredith all the time on Grey's
Oh.
Anatomy. So like he's there, but like he's not there.
Yeah.
But
I mean,
I feel
it
like
could be.
it could be. I don't know. I'm just really like, I don't want him gone. I just really want to know how he's going to be gone. Like, I feel like it's causing me a lot of anxiety not knowing how he's going to leave.
I know. I almost like didn't want them to tell us because now every episode I'm gonna be like, is this the one?
But you know that when that came, we would have been sitting here saying, why didn't they say anything? They should
I
have told us.
know. I know. I mean, it's a lose-lose situation, I feel like. So as much as I'm not a huge Jay fan, I never have been, but I also don't want anything bad to happen to him either. I mean, it's like I like him enough to where I don't mind him in the show and I don't want anything bad happen to him. But if he leaves, I'm also not going to be like, oh, if he leaves, he is leaving. I'm not completely heartbroken that he's leaving, as long as they do it like in a right way, because I still like him. I still like I mean, I kind of like his character. He's, like I said, he's my least favorite.
He still deserves a good like a decent send off. However, that send off is going to happen.
Yep. I mean, he's been on the show since the very beginning. Nobody can play one character for their entire lives. Well, I guess you can, but
you can if you're Ellen Pompeo.
I don't know. I know we have to talk about Jay leaving on the podcast, so I did want to mention it, even though it's not really in the story yet. But if not everybody knew, now you guys know he is leaving. We just don't know when or how. They said mid-season, right?
And if you didn't know that he was leaving, we're sorry that we had to be the ones to break it to you.
Hey, if we had to know, you guys have to know. Sorry.
You have to be miserable.
Boo-hoo. Anyways, Voight is spiraling, and I don't know how that's going to end. That is really scaring me, like I said earlier, because when he spirals, nothing good comes out of it.
Nothing good happens from a Voight spiral. So
no, but he was still able to not completely lose himself, like in the interrogation rooms. He was still able to not break too many rules. I think he wanted to.
But he always wants to.
He kept it together as well as he could. But also, I don't know. This week, I mean, I don't want to say it disappointed me because PD's back and we all love PD and I'm excited that it's back, but I was expecting, I think I was just hyping the season up for some reason. I don't know.
I was expecting more out of the season premiere.
Maybe next week they were just ramping us up this week and next week will be a lot better.
Maybe it was more of like a wrap up from the finale and then they'll really get into stuff, but they have to get into stuff soon because I'm not going to stick with a season that's all like this.
No. Oh, like we were talking about though in Med, they are really focusing on this fentanyl. I'm trying to think of a certain word right now.
The fentanyl.
I mean, it's really happening in the real world. It's like, this is a huge problem in real life. And I'm glad that they're talking about it and they're concentrating on it because it does need to be more publicized.
That was so sad with that little boy.
Oh my gosh, was that horrible?
It was even worse because the whole time I was thinking, oh, he's going to be okay. But he wasn't.
Once they found his parents and Voight got that phone call, I was like, oh no.
I was like, that's probably not a phone call that we're excited about. Because
No.
like what was Voight said that he was eating strawberries, so probably thought it was like the fentanyl was sugar and he sprinkled it on the strawberries.
Yeah, that was so heartbreaking. And I really thought Voight was going to freaking lose it. But in all great Voight fashion, he jumped in that lady's car and drove him to the hospital. I mean, everybody knows Voight's like my favorite person.
That lady was a lot calmer than I would have been. I was expecting her to kind of be freaking out a little bit, like, you're taking my car? Where are we going? But she was just like, okay, cool, this is what we're doing. I'm getting in the back with this little boy.
Well, and he said that he's a police officer, so I think I would have. That sounds really. I would have just trusted him. Well, you shouldn't just trust anybody who says they're a police officer, but
Yeah.
in
Even
that
if they
kind of
say they're a
situation,
police
yes, you could
officer,
take my car.
like, oh, this little boy's dying and you're taking us to the hospital. You can take my car. That's fine.
Absolutely, I would give him my car in a heartbeat if somebody needed to take this little boy to the hospital. Needed to use my car. I'd sit on the side of the road if they wanted me to. I'd watch my car drive off. I'm just that vulnerable. Well, not vulnerable. Gullible. I knew it was a bull word. They get him to the hospital, and I had a feeling he was not going to make it. Really, when they went in there and found his parents.
Yeah, looking back now, I should have known that he wasn't going to make it, because there has to be, because this is the opening of I'm guessing this is the opening of a major storyline that they're going to be having throughout the season.
Yeah.
So, I mean, they can't have this little boy. I mean, they had to, this little boy had to die in order for Hank to really
Get serious about going after him.
Get revving and, get
Yeah.
this storyline going. So,
yeah. But it was sad. I mean, it was really sad. And also, I'm kind of, I don't want to say sad. I'm a little disappointed that we didn't get more of his parents' reaction and their fallout from it all. Because I feel like that just kind of went away.
Because Hank just found them all like doped up in that basement, right? And that's all we saw of the parents. Like, we didn't see anything else from them.
I kind of thought that was the dad who we kind of meet a little bit later. Ended up not being, but like when I very first saw the guy, I was like, is that the dad of the little boy who just died and he's out here selling drugs again? Ended up not being him. But one amazing thing that came from PD this week is my guy's back. I loved this guy, and I cannot remember his name off the top of my head right now.
Oh, the new guy who
Yes.
who was doing like a ride-along type thing with Jay at the beginning.
Yeah.
I'm starting to really, really love him. And if what their plan is to basically make him like a replacement, like, I mean, you can never replace someone who's been on that long. But if their plan is to bring him in as, a replacement kind of for Jay, then I'm all for it, because I'm really, and the way that they used him, I think like his general like look, he can definitely do a lot of really good undercover stuff for this whole fentanyl storyline. Yes.
I mean,
because he definitely looks the part. He definitely looks the part of a gang member who would, be a part of this. So I'm excited too. Yeah, I like him. I didn't like him when we first saw him. I was like, what is this guy's deal? But I am starting to like him.
No, I even liked him back then when he was on PD a couple years ago. Like, I liked him then. It actually did take me like a couple of minutes to like recognize him when Jay came up to him. I guess my headspace wasn't in there, but as soon as he was like being really quiet, and I was like, I think I remember that guy. And then it like came back to me, and I was like, I really like that guy. So I'm excited for him, and I hope he kind of stays around for longer. And I mean, he takes Jay's place. I am, like you said, A-okay with that. I think he fits in well with the team. Yeah. I think he'd be great undercover, like he already is. But when he's chasing somebody, man, he just has that passion, that passion that the rest of them have.
Oh, yeah,
I'm excited.
He's gonna fit in really good.
He is, and I mean, I hope he stays around. I guess we don't know for sure yet, but I hope he stays around.
I really hope he sticks around, because he's gonna really bring something to the team.
But he is so quiet, which is unlike the rest of the team. He's just super quiet guy.
Maybe someone will help fix that. I don't know, because he can't be quiet forever.
I think that's just his personality, to be honest.
Maybe that's just who he is.
I think it is. I don't think he purposely.
Maybe he'll just be the quiet guy that gets things done.
Hopefully. I'm all for it. As long as he stays around, I'm for it. He's kind of cute too.
I was really bummed this episode that we didn't get more of a wrap up as far as Kim and Adam go.
Because I feel like I didn't even see him.
Because they left off at a really I don't know if I would call it a cliffhanger, but okay, so like they left us off with the cliffhanger with them as far as like the house goes, and where the two of them are at, and like the whole
Yeah.
family situation, and we barely even saw them in the premiere. So I don't know, maybe we can just add that to the list of disappointing things about this season.
That's why I'm hoping next week is going to be a little bit better. I feel like this week was kind of like an opening and then kind of like gearing the season up, maybe.
Maybe, I don't know. I really hope next episode has a lot more going on.
Yeah.
And like more carryover from the finale.
I hope so. Because I did miss like Kevin too. Like I feel like we just like where was he?
I feel like maybe the main focus of this episode, like you said, more of a setup. So maybe the main focus was just the whole fentanyl storyline and really setting that all up before they kind of dive into all of like the personal stuff.
Yeah. I don't know. I think so. I hope so. But I guess we will have to see about next week and see where they go with this.
We'll just have to keep watching, stick with it.
Oh, darn.
Oh, man.
All right. So we only have a couple more things left to talk about for PD. Like we said, it wasn't that entertaining this week, but hopefully that was just a ramp up and trying to get us introduced to the season. But we do have a new chief, and it seems like he's hopefully going to be kind of a better fit and letting Voight kind of run his department how he wants and expects to.
Yeah, because every other chief we've had before this has really butted heads with Voight, and it seems like he really wants to work with Voight.
Yeah.
But I think he just does not want to work with him if he's going to continue on with this, vendetta against. Like, I don't think he wants to continue working with the kind of Voight who's just going to be constantly seeking revenge.
Yeah. I mean, it does drive me insane about Voight of he just does whatever he wants. And I know that's Voight being Voight. I mean, that's how he's been for 10 seasons. I mean, that we know he's not going to change. But I mean, the chief tried to put him in a direction of you can't just stay in this one neighborhood. Like, and I agree with him. But
there are other things that need, his attention.
And I agree. And he's absolutely 100% right. But also on the other hand, they're not done trying to fix, and they're not going to fix this neighborhood. I mean, it's not a good neighborhood. But this whole fentanyl situation needs to be dealt with. And I feel like the only people who can really deal with that situation is Voight's team. So I think his concentration does need to be on the whole fentanyl situation right now. I agree with Voight on that. Yeah. But I also agree with the new chief that they can't just stay in this one neighborhood and keep working on like one case all the time.
Because if this is going to be as widespread as we believe it's going to be in a lot more than just this one neighborhood. So he needs to keep his eyes on the big picture.
Yeah.
Because yes, Anna's death was terrible. I know he feels responsible, but he needs to move on so he can, do his job.
Absolutely. There's not just one bad thing happening in Chicago right now.
There's a lot of really bad things, and he needs to be all there.
And honestly, from a viewership point, if they keep doing just the same storyline over and over and over again, I'm going to get bored with it. Like I've said many podcasts and many different shows, I do not want the real world pushed down my throat when I'm in my fantasy land. I'm in my fantasy land to watch fantasy shows. I'm not in my fantasy land to watch all the downfalls of fentanyl and COVID, to be honest. I mean, yes, we need to touch on them. Absolutely. But at the same time, I don't want to hyper focus on it for an entire season.
Yeah. So I don't know. Hopefully there's going to be a lot more to focus on alongside the storyline. So we don't have to just have that solely down our throats. Because there is more to go. Like we said before, there is more to find out with Kim and Adam. So we have their stuff. There's probably the potential fallout of however Jay is going to be off the show.
And I mean, also, we also have this huge dynamic right now between Haley Jay and Hank, right? They're still not vibing with each other. I feel like they're still in this kind of weird position. And maybe that's why Jay leaves. I mean,
Maybe.
that could be another possibility, is he can't work for Void anymore, putting Haley in that position that he did with whoever she had to kill.
Yeah.
So that could be another thing.
Anything's a possibility at this point.
I guess we'll have to see. Tune in next week. All right. Well, I think that is it. I think we talked way too much about Medfire and a little bit about PD. And
some other things. Sorry, Maureen.
Sorry. So, all right. Well, I think that's it. And I don't know what's coming up.
Well, we have all of our shows back. We have Chicago, all the Chicagos, The Resident, and
911.
911.
Grey's will be back October 6th.
Yeah, so stay tuned. Keep coming back.
Yay. All right. Well, bye, guys.
Bye.
Loving our content? Subscribe to our YouTube channel, and don't forget to share our podcast with your family and friends. We want to continue the conversation with you. You can find us on Instagram, Twitter, or TikTok under Fandom Family Chats, or one of our ever-growing Facebook groups by searching Family Fan Club. We've also launched a website, Family Fan Club 2021 at wixsite.com. You can email us there and keep checking it for announcements and merch coming soon. And of course, be sure to tune in every week for new episodes discussing all your favorite shows.